I was also hoping that these Apaches would remain focused on attempting to clear Gilead, as the anti-aircraft defences of Lima are nearly non-existent. As you can see, they're now feeling very confident and are using their AMLs to push this front line, damage and scare my men, but making them ineffective. And he has pulled his Luke's AI units back here to be repaired, concentrating in a very effective defense, waiting for his Leopard 2A force to come and push through this line. We also have, my allies also got a Book M1. This is a very long range and very accurate, very powerful and very deadly anti-aircraft unit. It costs about the same as the Tunguska, but doesn't have the autocannons, but its range is a lot more. And it can generally one-shot a NATO helicopter if it can hit it due to their general reduced health compared to packed helicopters. You can see the Apaches are now testing the water, seeing how close they can get to the Tunguskas without them opening fire. And the Buck has been repositioned because at present in the woods its line of sight is being blocked, rendering it near useless at this point. As you can see, I'm now reinforcing with some infantry units over here just in case they use any legion from us. The Motor Strelky with the advantage of the woods on their side should be able to hold. And I'm bringing up these Earls. I would prefer to be using T813s in my to resupply, as they are armoured and therefore a lot more resistant to these mortar carriers. The Earls will die very quickly, and as such, but unfortunately I didn't have them in my deck at the time, so the Earls are the most effective, or the only option. I resupplying my forces. As you can see, there are a lot of units to be repaired, refueled and rearmed, and with the new recon unit I'm fielding that can take a lot more risks than this one, which is very low in health. I can now spot the Legion from masses hiding in the woods, allowing my tanks to shell them from a safe distance. The Buck is now in a much better position, and this flank is now heavily secured with a Tunguska and Buck. Apaches will not be getting through this line in one piece. However, the mortar carriers are still doing a lot of damage. This Tunguska still has to be repaired, or it's near ineffective against the Apaches, who will definitely kill it quite quickly. And I am bringing a recon helicopter into range, as it's more effective at seeing stuff in the woods and behind the woods. And as I know the Rolands are back here, it's fairly safe, unless an offensive starts. See, he's bringing Hemet supply trucks in to resupply, and they're also very helpful when dealing against our artillery. And the Fuchs armoured personnel characters are also deploying some infantry, most likely Jaegers, on our side, although they could still be Panzer Grenadiers, so this could be a dangerous horse, depending on what it is. At present, Pact has a slight advantage over NATO with 3,300 points to 2,800, but NATO has definitely pushed us further back into Gilead, and if they can have a successful offensive knocking out this force here, this will give them a significant advantage. However, our artillery is doing very well with the Mi2 spotting and allowing them to correct their shots. It is landing accurate shots on the Leopards and the Rolands, meaning that when they come into range of the T80s, this will be very good for us. However, they brought another 2 Leopards into range, as well as the AMXs, the Hamets, the anti-tank equipped infantry, and the Jaegers. I thought this was definitely the final push. They have a lot more powerful units than we do on the T60 T, which is being destroyed. At this point, and even the T62s are running out of their 80 KMs. This is definitely looking bad for us. I moved my BTR-60s into the firing line. Hopefully they will distract them, the Leopard 2s, forcing them to shoot at the BTRs instead of the more valuable tank, and also causing them to use up their ammunition and supplies on units that aren't that effective. BTRs have also gone into range to the AMX-10s, however this is probably an even worse decision on our part, seeing as now the AMX-10s will be able to deal with the BTRs and kill them quicker. The Leopard 2s have retreated but are being reinforced. I've brought supply lines up to the front, but unfortunately there aren't a lot of units worth supply. And due to the fact that their anti-aircraft units aren't really there, I've brought some an Mi-24A to deal with this. And the Tunguskas and the Bucks are now going to make short work of the Apaches, as well as a Tunguska from Lima that I reinforced to give it some AA defense. 2 Apaches down, that's definitely putting us on a confident lead, and the lack of any AA missiles here is definitely hurting them. The Mi-24 can fire freely on the Leopards. As you can see, this is the best way to play Wargame. Always deploy the counter whatever your opponent is about to field to counter your stuff. That's all, they're being one step ahead. The Mi-24s have now been deployed. He has not brought any AA units up to this new front line, and so they are going to get some very easy kills. The Rolands are out of range, and they can chase the Leopards and the AMXs back. As you can see, NATO players are dropping one by one, and as their various armies are crushed, but there is still a very powerful NATO presence on this map. They still control around half the map, although Gulf and Foxtrot are now moving into our possession. The Echo is still under their control, but their pressure on Juliet has now been crushed. Their attack has been repelled. The Mi-24s are now moving forward to eradicate the last remnants of the offensive, hopefully outside the range of Rolands. I used my own MiG helicopter. Fortunately, they get a bit too risky, and the Rolands again prove their worth, taking down one Mi-24 which moved out a bit too far. The Fuchs are now advancing. Unfortunately, the Mi-24s with the Mi-2 spot them and fire a few rocks in the direction, firmly telling them that this is definitely not a good idea. As you can see, the artillery is still raining down on their position at Echo. We now know almost certainly that their command vehicle is there, and the relentless artillery destroys it. Although the command armor was able to withstand the artillery for a long time, if this had been a command vehicle, one barrage in that direction would have definitely killed it. Now a lot of their forces have been destroyed by the resultant artillery. All they have are 2 anti-aircraft missiles, 6 mortar carriers, a few heavily damaged fighting vehicles, some armored supply trucks, and that's it. Any offensive here is likely to be significant in our favour. The Mi-24 is now advanced. Without recon in this sector, the Rolands are definitely less effective, and with their missiles are very unlikely to score any hits whatsoever. Allowing the Mi-24s to mop up the Fuchs and Jaeger infantry squads that are here, allowing us to move into Echo and definitely take the lead in the centre of the map. Over on the flank, the VABs are still caught in conflict, although they have been thrown away. OT-64s, TO-62 flamethrower vehicles, and rifle squads there. The threat has definitely been neutralised, however a few are still hidden. The Mi-24s are now being flown back to resupply and wait until the Rolands are destroyed. I've now moved up the various armoured personnel characters and infantry fighting vehicles. Actually no, I've been deploying them into this area to check and test the waters, as they had a significant presence here earlier and I wasn't entirely sure what the artillery had done. So I'm moving up my recon units to have a look at what's happening and whether I can advance. I still don't have any tanks, and all I have are 2 armoured personnel characters with anti-tank infantry in them. And with the mortars, this is not a present force. Any real defence would definitely mop them up.